This is the AI News Flash for August 15th, 3 a.m. UTC. First up, Anthropic's IPO valuation is being debated around a 2028 revenue forecast of $190 to $200 billion, according to a Reuters exclusive. Two people familiar with the company's financials say that projection dwarfs the $47 billion run rate Anthropic publicized as recently as May. At the end of 2025, the figure was about $9 billion, meaning the run rate has grown more than tenfold a year for 3 straight years. Second quarter revenue is projected at a minimum of $10.9 billion, with $559 million in operating profit, which would be the company's first profitable quarter. Bankers and investors are pricing the company on enterprise value to revenue multiples 2 years out rather than on current earnings. The comparisons being cited are Palantir at 53 times expected 2026 revenue and SpaceX and Cloudflare at 41.6 times. David Merkel of Aleph Investments said a $2 trillion valuation is achievable, but questioned whether it would hold over time. Anthropic did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Next, U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick has urged Apple not to buy Chinese-made memory chips, according to the Wall Street Journal and Japan's Nikkei. This amounts to an answer to Apple's own lobbying since July. Tim Cook and senior executives had pitched Secretary Lutnick, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, and President Trump on using memory from Chinese makers CXMT and YMTC, not only in devices sold in China but in Apple products worldwide. Both companies sit on the Pentagon's list of firms believed to support China's military. In the Senate, 7 bipartisan lawmakers had already given Apple until August 21st to commit to keeping CXMT and YMTC memory out of its products. The pressure comes from a shortage. As AI server demand pulled capacity away from consumer devices, standard DRAM contract prices are estimated to have risen 55 to 60% in the first half of 2026, and Apple reportedly expects the squeeze to persist into 2027. Third, China's DeepSeek has open-sourced its agent runtime, DeepSeek Harness version 0.1, under the MIT license. It was released on August 13th as a developer preview, and the package version actually reads 0.1.0 Release Candidate 5, so it is still pre-final. The defining choice is architectural. Models, tools, execution loops, sessions, sandboxes, and the user interface are all plugins that can be swapped without touching the source. 4 runtime modes ship with it: a full-featured standard mode, a code mode that orchestrates tools in TypeScript, a minimal mode for benchmarking, and a creator mode for authoring custom presets. It is model agnostic out of the box, supporting DeepSeek's own models, plus Anthropic, OpenAI, Bedrock, Vertex, Azure, and any OpenAI-compatible endpoint. This is the same internal framework DeepSeek used to benchmark its own V4 series models, now handed to the public. Observers read it as a direct move against Anthropic's Claude code, which has become a favorite among developers. Fourth, Goldman Sachs and Nomura both say AI is more likely to reshape India's jobs than to eliminate them. Bloomberg reports. Nomura frames India as ground zero for measuring AI's effect on employment. The actual counts point one way. India added 83,100 AI-related jobs over the period, against 31,921 positions lost through layoffs and attrition. Santanu Sengupta, Goldman's chief India economist, sees widespread job losses as unlikely. His reasoning is structural. Construction and retail trade alone account for roughly 40% of the country's workforce, and those jobs are currently little affected by AI. He does allow that some service sector roles could be hit, and because of India's sheer scale, the country is seeing the largest absolute impact anywhere across layoffs, hiring freezes, and new recruitment alike. And finally, SpaceX has completed its acquisition of Anysphere, the company behind the AI coding tool Cursor. A securities filing on August 14th confirmed the close, making Cursor a wholly owned subsidiary. The transaction is all stock, valued at $60 billion, and is described as the largest acquisition of a venture-backed startup ever. The agreement was announced on June 16th, and back in April, SpaceX had secured an option giving it the right either to pay roughly $10 billion for a partnership or to buy the company outright for $60 billion later in the year. Cursor was founded in 2022 and has scaled to roughly $2.6 billion in annualized revenue, with enterprise sales rising. It now joins the SpaceX AI division and will be integrated with products such as Grok Build and Grok Bot. The market reaction was not straightforward. SpaceX stock fell about 3% on the close, as investors weighed the company's AI ambitions against the lockup restricting share sales. That's all for this AI news flash.